Let's go. It's opening day, baby. It's back. We've been waiting a long time. I know DC has been stroking for the last 5 months. He finally gets his day. My favorite person with Apopicia's here, JT. Wonderful to see both of you. We are back. The Twins jersey is on DC. You know, obviously didn't learn our lesson from last year. We'll probably be going back to some Twins today. JT has a A on his shirt, which stands for asshole. And we're just going to have a great time today. So I'm really looking forward to it. JT, I'm giving you shit because you said mean things before we came on the air. But it is great to see you, a partial sky, a deck, and a palm tree. What's happening, JT?
Nothing but the bluest fucking skies on opening day. That's exactly what's happening. It's here, and it's exciting. They even gave us a little bit of a bizarre slate with a game at 9:40 that's on it, so that's exciting. Just a ton of roadblocks today, but no, excited that baseball is back. Obviously, the last couple of weeks with NBA has been a miserable existence. It's been profitable, but it's been a miserable existence trying to stay on top of news. And today, outside of Gabe Kapler, who is a donkey, we have most of the lineups. We know what's going to happen, and I'm excited to talk about it with DC. Not so much you, but it's good to see you anyway.
DC, I just saw you the other day. It's wonderful to see you. This is our day. We're back. We've got a ton of people watching. And what's on your mind right now? What are you feeling? Did you wake up hard? Talk to me.
Yeah, it was good to see you for the first time in 37 years. Let's keep it on that schedule.
Yep.
If I make it to 74, maybe we can
see you again
to reunite again. But it's a great day. It feels like Christmas morning to me. I get to open the present of opening day. MLB certainly been preparing for months now for this day, and yeah, couldn't be more excited to talk it all. Honestly, opening day is kind of it's a weird slate, right? Because every team's got their aces on the hill. So offense, especially with the cold weather and stuff, can be a little bit hard to come by. And it's not my fault. The Twins, I was not planning to go to them early after they didn't do us super well last year. But hey, they're the team facing the pitcher with the fastball. They can't even touch JT Hayes' heater in Zach Greinke. So you can't blame me for going back to the Twins here on opening day.
So for those of you not familiar with our product, by the way, there's a free show. So we've got to talk about the like button. We got to talk about the promotions and everything. But we do have an up to lock show. Sometimes it'll be premium. I think sometimes it'll be free. But here's what you're getting with Run Pure Sports if you're playing baseball. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. We got our course. The guys are going to throw the 7 best players, 2 pitchers, 5 position players, FanDuel, DraftKings, probably at some point in time. We'll do a little bit of what else? Yahoo. I know JSU plays a lot of Yahoo. We got the MLB playbook breaking down every game, every position. We got showdowns. We got team split ranks. We got Big T's player pool. By the way, Big T coming off last year where he won the Fantasy World Championship or whatever the hell they're calling it. So we've got some amazing baseball players here, amazing baseball team. And the code that you should use is what, JT?
It's JT Hayes 15. That's a dramatic pause for effect. JT Hayes 15. It gets you 15% off your first month's payment. It does absolutely nothing for me anymore, but it does help you out. And that's really why I'm here. Glorious skies, great plays, excitement.
And as I think it's Lycan says,
yeah,
you're very lucky.
A rare compliment for you, Holden.
You're very lucky to be with us. So, yes, you should be thanking RPS gods that we have given you this information in this team today because it's getting going. And here's Andrew Peterson, AP, not AD, of course, chiming in with the Twins and the Royals. It's not going to be fun for the Royals, AP. You know this. You know this, my friend. But here's what we do. We're going to run down the pitchers from both sides. We'll do DraftKings. Also throw in some notes on the FanDuel side. We've got game by game as far as picking out stacks and positions and the players we want there. Plays of the day. We'll give you our favorite stacks. And then no weather concerns, right? Nothing, guys. I don't see anything that I'm concerned about. As a matter of fact, looks a lot nicer than it was opening day last year.
Yeah, it's cold a number of places, especially out on the East Coast. But Nothing I see that is in danger of, getting postponed or delayed or anything like that. They did already delay the San Diego Colorado game, move that back to 9:40 Eastern time. I think still on both slates for sure, still on the DraftKings slate. So that's a little bit of a wrench thrown in the plan. But yeah, all these games should play without issue today.
Yep, they should. So let's get into it real quick, both of you, on the new rules and how you think that this is going to have an impact on DFS. Maybe stolen bases are up, the pitch clock, which, by the way, if baseball fans, I know some of you, because we got diehard baseball people in here, some of you aren't going to like it. Just sit down, watch it. I'll give it a week. This is such a better product than we had last year. I mean, we shaved 30 minutes off of spring training games. It's going to be amazing. But real quick, DC, out of all the rules, give us one or two that may have an impact on DFS.
Yeah, so three main rules. I think most people watching the show probably aware of them by now, but I'll go over them real quickly here. Just take a minute for those who aren't. Pickoff rule, so you can only throw over to first base or second base twice with the runner on base. Third time, if you don't pick them off, it's an automatic block. They get the stolen base automatically. That doesn't actually count as a stolen base, but they get the next base automatically. That's going to increase stolen bases, no question about it. The bases are bigger. I think they're like 3 inches bigger, something like that. So there will be a few more hits and easier to steal. You see players like slide off the base when they kind of successfully stolen a base. That's going to be less common. One of the worst plays in baseball. So happy to see that gone. I think overall we'll see stolen bases increase on an MLB level around 25%. And then the pitch clock. You've got 20 seconds to throw the ball when there's a guy on, 15 seconds when there's nobody on base. Less clear what exact effect this will have on pitchers, but I do think it will introduce more variance, more volatility to some pitchers. I think there'll be some pitchers who really struggle with this, and I do think it'll lead to more offense overall. And then finally, the shift rules. Got to have 2 infielders on each side of second base, 1 foot at least on the infield dirt, so you can't camp out in short right field, especially the left-handed hitters who pull a lot of baseballs, guys like, Joey Gallo, Max Kepler, a couple guys on the Twins, going to benefit more significantly from that than other players will. So, yeah, those are the 3 rules. Offense going to be up. Stolen base is going to be up. Emphasis on athleticism, more balls in play. I do think overall it's going to make for a better version of the game that we love so much already. So very excited for the rule changes.
JT, anything in particular with the rule changes you'll be looking for today and that we can apply to DFS?
Yeah, DC hinted at it there at the end. I think this is massive for left-handed contact/power hitters. That shift has been killing them the last 4 or 5 seasons. I think it's big for them. We saw that not only were stolen base attempts up in spring training, but the success rate was extremely high. So I think you're going to see these teams in particular, and the Royals are one of these teams with a lot of guys who will go ahead and run. They can run. They're athletic. They have speedsters. And I'll tell you this, there was something, I think we were talking about it at the RPS party. One of the guys who just dips his toe a little bit in baseball, he said, give me a couple of teams that people aren't aware of that are going to be sneaky this year for DFS. And 2 teams I said are the Royals and the Pirates. And it may not come to fruition for the Pirates on opening day because I don't like that game as much as some others. But I think the Royals are interesting here. Now, DC talked about Zach Greinke. We'll get into him. I do remember him being very good at home last year, but he's a year older. It's a new season. And I think these rules are going to be, in particular, interesting to see the play starting today.
Okay. And Blue Jays and Tigers, they ended up moving their fences either in or down or both. So keep an eye on that as the baseball season continues, because that'll be a big one as well. And obviously Detroit's on the road at Tampa Bay, and we've got that. And then the Blue Jays on the road at St. Louis. But as the season goes on, we'll definitely notice that. Let me see here. We know that there is a guy that watched last year because Sean says good day for stolen base parlays, and you were cleaning up on those. Is it a good day for stolen base parlays on the betting side yet, DC?
Yeah, but they removed them, so you can't parlay the stolen bases anymore. After we took DraftKings for a few too many stolen base parlays, so they're not up there. There are some good stolen base matchups today, and those are going to be, I think, more relevant than ever for DFS betting, of course. yeah, we can talk about those kind of as we go along game by game here.
All right. Like button would be great. We'd appreciate it. That means you like us. If you don't hit it, what are they, JT? Oh, you can't call them what you want to call them.
I can't use bad language on the YouTube shows. So, I mean, you're just offensive. That's
okay. I like that. Well, let's get into the pitchers. This is where we're going here. We do DraftKings, and then we'll talk about FanDuel as well. It's opening day, DC, so a ton of aces out there. DeGrom, Scherzer, on and on and on and on. So talk to me here. What do we want to do at pitcher on DraftKings, a 2-pitcher site, then on to FanDuel, the 1-pitcher site?
Yeah, so people that are familiar with my work and shows and write-ups and whatever over the last number of years know that I'm definitely not afraid to recommend low-owned, cheaper pitchers. That'll happen as soon as tomorrow, Saturday. I've got some guys that I'm really excited about to play for cheap that other people won't play. Today, though, with all the aces on the hill on opening day, I do think you're going to need 2 big scores out of both starting pitcher spots to contend and GPPs, probably in cash games as well. So it does seem like a day today to, for the most part, play the aces. And also, of course, with, all the, kind of newer players, pricing's a little bit off. It's very, very easy to fit in pretty much whatever your bats you want, even if you play, the highest priced pitchers. So today, a little more vanilla than I'll typically be on the pitcher analysis. I do think the right move is to pay up for 2 of these studs, which 2 I think I think you can make a case for a number of these guys. And unlike in 2 of the last 3 years, 2020, we obviously had the shortened season at the start of the pandemic. And then last year we had a truncated spring training, right, with the lockout stuff. And so we saw a lot of pitchers kind of start the year on pitch counts and not fully stretched out. But this year, most of these guys are ready to go. I mean, Max Scherzer threw 100 pitches in his last spring training outing, which seems completely crazy for the Mets to do for however old he is, 37, 38-year-old guy. But he's ready to go. I mean, Mad Max, I think if he's rolling along here, honestly wouldn't shock me to see him throw a complete game shutout, pump it up to 112 pitches on opening day here, which is kind of bizarre against Miami. I like the matchup. The park is good there. So I do have Max Scherzer as my number 1. He's another guy that actually the pitch clock, I think he's going to benefit from it. Just according to him, he's been thinking about it all year long. He knew the rule change was coming. He's kind of messing with hitters with their timing, and he's a beast. I think he's going to go out there and throw really well. So I have Scherzer 1. I do have Garrett Cole 2, another guy that looked awesome in spring, throwing 98, 99 at times, a lot of strikeouts. And he pitches in Yankee Stadium here, which we know, you get to June, July, it becomes a very, very good home run park when it gets warmer. Today, though, 40 degrees. It's going to play very tough for home runs for power hitters. And that's really Garrett Cole's only weakness is kind of the home run ball, which probably won't bite him today. So I have Scherzer 1, Cole 2. I can make a case for Corbin Burns against the Cubs at Wrigley where it's cold. Sandy Alcantara. Again, I mean, we could see Scherzer and Alcantara deal into the 8th, 9th inning. Wouldn't shock me in Miami. Max Fried, I think, is a pretty good option against the really, really bad Nationals lineup. He looked good in spring training. And then I do like 2 cheaper guys. 1, Shane McClanahan against improving but still really bad Tigers team. McClanahan, as long as he's not facing Matt Chapman, we trust him to get the job done there in Tampa Bay. And then kind of my wild card, one guy that I think will be lower owned is Blake Snell, which he's a true boom bust type pitcher where you never really know what you're going to get out of him. But I do think he finished last year really strong. And I do think he's, the quote unquote good version of Blake Snell right now. Most likely he gets the Rockies at home in San Diego. We know how bad the Rockies are on the road. He's 7,900 on DraftKings. I think he'll go a little bit under the radar today. So yeah, that's kind of my top 5 or 6, but Jacob deGrom, I mean, I have no problem with anybody playing him. I'll have him mixed in a little bit. I do think he'll be limited to 80 pitches, which is really the only reason why I've got him docked a little bit, where I do expect Scherzer and Cole to approach, or in Scherzer's case, probably exceed 100 pitches. But it's just, you take 20 pitches off the top. That's enough for me to maybe go a different direction underground for my main teams. But a ton of good options at the top. I do think paying up for pitching for the most part is probably the way to go today.
Yep. I'm listening to you guys. I'm deferring to you, DC. I will have some Alcantara, though. Boy, do I love Alcantara. Everybody should love Alcantara. And he is stretched out. It was a little surprising to see Scherzer throw 100 pitches, too, in his last tune-up start, because we've seen his body break down a little bit here over the last 2 years. But opening day, why not? Mr. JT, DraftKings and FanDuel, what is the strategery today? And what's the pool? What's the pitcher pool here?
Yeah, not much different from DC. I think it's pretty easy today to get up to Cole and either Corbin Burns or Max Scherzer. So I think that'll be a popular but a very good pairing. He mentioned Shane McClanahan, 7,700. I actually like him. We know that he's not going to go super deep on opening day. We know what the Rays do, but I think 5 and even 6 innings at that price, he could pay it off, and points per dollar come very close to either Cole or Scherzer. Probably not going to get too cute. Blake Snell is the other guy that he mentioned that I actually like quite a bit today. He'll be a little bit popular, but it's expected to be around 50 degrees in San Diego when that game starts this evening, and that's pretty cold for San Diego. And last year, of course, we attacked Colorado on the road every single time, and this Colorado roster is I don't know. It's not a major league. It doesn't look like a major league roster, and I think that Snell is a good option. And then the other thing that I was thinking about, I was looking at this slate last night, thinking about Max Fried, thinking about the Braves, thinking about how bullpens matter, particularly earlier in the season, and the Braves are going to have one of the best bullpens in baseball. I do not think that they're going to go out and run these guys early like you'll see 300-year-old Buck Showalter do with his 50-year-old pitchers. So I just think that's something to keep in mind here, that the bullpens matter. The Mets bullpen significantly diminished with the injury to Edwin Diaz, and I think he will run these guys into the ground. So I do think Scherzer's a good bet today.
JT, you think Fried? I think he gets pulled after 6, even if he's really cruising, is my guess on Max Fried. Unless it's
I think Braves are a huge favorite, and I think I don't think that game sets up as well given the elements for DFS as many people think, but I think you can expect that 6 innings is probably close to the top of what you would get out of Max Fried. He's not the strikeout percentage guy that Cole, that Scherzer, that even Blake Snell is. So I think, for a couple $100 less, you could get down and get Blake Snell. You could get McClanahan for less, and for just 900 more. And then I think 1,300 more, you could get Cole or Scherzer. So I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to go to Max Fried today.
I think he's super safe. I just don't think he's going to be one of the top 2 starting pitchers at the end of the day, which, given how lax the salary is today, you do really want to try to get number 1, SP1 and SP2 into your lineups, right? I think the winners will probably have the SP1 and SP2. It's not always the case. Sometimes if you get a cheap pitcher that does decent, that's enough to get you the big bats, to get you to the top. But on this particular slate, you do need 2 big scores out of your pitchers.
I agree.
All right, good. We got some pitching done. Here's the deal. Like button would be great. We got a monster crowd. This will be one of our, if not the biggest crowd we have for DFS. Everybody's excited. We're pumped up. Baseball's back. JT's got a palm tree behind him. DC's got his Twins thing, his Twins jersey on. That's wonderful as well. And we got lineups that are coming out left and right. So this is great. Great to see. We got Atlanta and Washington, the Giants and the Yankees. So a lot of these lineups are coming out now. But I do need to tell you, you got to hit the like button. That would be wonderful if you want the plays of the day. And JT is the one that's really scary. Freeloaders, first timers, appreciative of DC's opening day premium show breakdown. Show your thanks. Help yourself to use the code. Join the team. So, Ty the Barber, you just did my job for me.
Like DC's burner. It's DC's burner right there. Ty the Barber, obviously.
Yeah, why'd you use a burner, DC? Just put yourself in there. Just write nice things about yourself like I do in the chat. And then we got so much going on here. We got core plays. I mean, our guys are giving you the 2 best pitchers on DraftKings, their number 1 pitcher on FanDuel. They're giving you 5 to 6 position player plays. So you get the best DFS baseball team in the world. You got Big T, who is the fantasy baseball world champion in DFS, JT, DC, AP, who, by the way, we were 2 minutes late getting on. AP sends me a message. Are you guys going live? So how excited is AP? I mean, 2 minutes late. You know how these shows work. Usually we're 5 minutes late, 2 minutes late, and AP's all jacked up. So it's good to see that. I see Showdown Christine in the live chat, K Reed, KMB Squid, even Sean G, W's only. W's say, hey, go outside, man, get some sun. I've been in damn Denver, man. You know, it's been freezing. So yeah, I'll go out and I'll do that. And yes, Robert, I am the best looking guy at RPS. That's not saying much though. So a thumbs up would be wonderful. Give us the like button. You're not getting the plays of the day in the stacks of the day if we don't hit what number, JT? What's the number? 400?
What are we at now? Because I
have no idea. I don't have it up, and I don't care, honestly.
I think my counter's broken. I think my counter's broken because it says only 216, and I know that can't be right. That absolutely can't be right. So the counter's broken. I'd say we got to get to 500. You're probably already there.
500.
I know this number isn't right, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Not gonna sweat it.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get going. We're gonna go with game by game. That's how we break it down here. And the first game that I see on the slate is the Giants and the Yankees. Now, DC, we already like Garrett Cole. I don't know if you want to do a little one-off from the Giants, who have a team implied total of 2.9. It's not like we're expecting too many runs to be scored at some of these games, but nonetheless, are there any Yankees that we want to target today in our lineups?
Yeah, not much from the Giants side. There will be a lot of games where I try to pick off a left-handed power bat against Garrett Cole, especially when he's popular. You can certainly do that today. Jock Peterson hitting cleanup would be the guy that I'd be most likely to play against Cole, closely followed by Michael Conforto. Listen, you pull a fly ball down the right field line at Yankee Stadium, even in the cold weather today, got a good chance of going out. So those guys I do think have a chance to do some damage. If you wanted to get weird, if you're fading Garrett Cole, I don't mind it. I certainly wouldn't go with the full Giants stack or anything like that, but it always never a bad idea to try to pick off, a power bat against the chalk pitcher, especially one like Cole, who does give up fly balls, who does give up home runs. So that's the Giants side, pretty short and sweet there. Yankees, I mean, listen, you can always play Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton if you want to, but this is a pretty bad spot. Like we said, tough home run park today in Yankee Stadium. I think they're close to the bottom, at least in my numbers, in terms of how this park will play via the home run ball. And then Logan Webb is kind of a ground ball master himself, right? Really doesn't give up a lot of home runs, does keep the ball on the ground, isn't a pitcher that gets blown up a lot. If pricing was tighter today, I'd be completely off the Yankees and Judge. But you can definitely afford Judge in your lineups as a one-off pretty easily if you want to, with all the savings out there. So I don't hate it, but in terms of my main teams, there'll be no hitters from this game. A lot of Garrett Cole in my lineups, and that's pretty much it from game one here.
No Volpe. That hurts.
We'll be playing a lot of Volpe, I think, as the year goes on, but not today.
Just not yet. He won't be our – well, I wonder if he can be our Michael Harris of 2023. JT, talk to me here. Any Yankees, any Giants, or is it a stay-away spot?
Not much different from DC here again. I like Cole. I don't like really anything else in this game. So we'll just make it quick, and it's going to be Cole, and that's it.
Okay. Then we'll get to our next game, Atlanta and Washington. And DC, I can't go to you first here. This is JT. Show him the jacket once again. What do we have on the jacket? A is for asshole, but also the Atlanta Braves. So we got our Braves guy here. You know that Gary's going to have an Atlanta Braves stack in his cores. Gotta think that JT is rolling out some Braves today. You could start with the national side if you want to, if there's a one-off here they want to think about. Joey Meneses is 5,200, JT. But on the Braves side, I don't know how popular they're going to be, but they should be, right?
They, in theory, right? And when you look at this offense, in theory, it's one of the strongest offenses in baseball, if not the strongest offense in Major League Baseball. This spot, however, with it being in the 40s in Washington, with the wind blowing left to right, it just isn't my favorite spot here. I know some of these guys are cheap. So what I'm going to do is limit the Braves to mini stacks here. And in particular, I think you can play Matt Olson. You can play him against left-handed pitching. I think this is a big rebound year for Matt Olson. Not that he had a bad year last year, but just a little bit more comfortable this year. And again, the shift rules are going to help guys like Matt Olson, who will hit those line drives in between the first and second baseman, and he'll hit a ton of doubles this year. So I like him. And Ozuna is a guy who in spring training, people were talking about, hey, he looks like the Ozuna of old. Looks like he's got his head on right. And if that's the case, that's unexpected for this lineup. If he actually hits 2,900 in the 5-hole is where he's expected to be. Not a terrible price for him. But I think I'm going to limit my Braves exposure to minis and try and get a little bit different on this opening day slate.
Okay. DC, I don't think you're in agreement with JT. You could be, but I don't think you are. And I'll just say this, that I covered the Washington Nationals for about 10 years. That ballpark, when it's in the 50s, 40s, and below, it plays gigantic. It is not an easy place to hit. And then it warms up during the summer. You get into the 80s, the ball just flies out there. So let's go. What do we got here with this game in DC today?
Yeah, certainly far less than ideal hitting conditions in Washington Nationals ballpark. There's no question about that. It's going to play tough for hitters. On the other hand, I think Patrick Corbin is pretty clearly the worst pitcher going today. Certainly the best pitcher to stack against, because when he does, like he'll have some good outings during the year. He still can strike batters out. But when he gets hit hard, right? Home runs, loud contact, obviously especially bad against right-handed bats. You can also run on him, which is really nice for the Braves. They've got several guys led by Acuna, Albies, and Michael Harris, who can steal bases. They're one of the teams that, I think it was Ozzie Albies early on that said, you know, he wants to go 40-40, which if Ozzie Albies hits 40 home runs, it's going to be a good year for yours truly. So I'm rooting for it. I'm not expecting it. But, yeah, I mean, just a really, really good matchup for the Braves here. I think despite the tough weather with Patrick Corbin, listen, there's no good hitting environment on this entire slate. It doesn't exist. This one may be a little bit worse than most or worse than average, but still, I do think the Braves put up runs here. I believe they have the highest team total on the board. Not that we're, necessarily following that automatically. They're very familiar with Patrick Corbin. And Corbin, JT, kind of like Zach Greinke, another year older here, and I just feel confident saying these guys aren't turning back the clock ever. They're just going to get worse and worse every year until they're out of the league. So I do think we'll see an even better version of Patrick Corbin to stack against, a worse version of Corbin as a pitcher overall. The Braves come in, locked in, spring training, hitting really well. I think they're going to do damage here for sure. So listen, I think you can play pretty much everybody in this lineup. In general, I do prefer righties against Patrick Corbin, but Matt Olson, on fire in spring training. He had 8 home runs, led all spring training in home runs. I think he's going to be one of those players, JT, that benefits, yes, from the shift changes. Of course, he's going to get more hits on the line drives into right field. I also think there's going to be a certain amount of players, and Matt Olson looks like one right now, where it just helps mentally not to have the whole team camped out where you're going to hit the ball, kind of lets you swing a little bit freer. And, we've all been there, right? Like if you played baseball, JT, if there's like a howling wind in your face, it's just like a little bit harder to hit, right? Because it's going to hang up there. I think the shift kind of had that effect mentally on some players. Maybe Matt Olson was one of them. So I'm expecting a huge year out of him. Definitely like him today against Corbin. Acuna, my number one with the power and speed. Ozzie Albies will almost always be on him against lefties. He's got power and speed, obviously. And then Sean Murphy, I think, going to be the most popular catcher today. I think for good reason. I'm expecting a huge season out of him with the Braves hitting 5th, but you can make the pivot to Travis d'Arnaud, who is DHing for the Braves, hitting 8th instead of 5th. But, I mean, you'll see Murphy come in, I don't know, 30% owned. I bet d'Arnaud will be well down under 10% owned, same price point. So that's a good tournament pivot to make. I'll have both guys in some lineups. But 1 through 9 here, I think all the Braves are good plays. I will certainly have full stacks. You can go all the way down to Orlando Arcia, 2,600 if you want to. Very big on the Braves. I think they're going to run on Corbin. And, despite the weather, I think we'll get a home run or two out of the Braves lineup as well. So they are my number 1 stack today against Corbin. I do think they'll be the number 1 stack overall, most popular stack, that is. So just know that going in. But, it's baseball. Nobody really gets that popular. And there are plenty of ways to get different with your remaining 3 or 4 spots other than your Brave stack. So, yeah, they are number 1 for me.
All right. Screw JT Hayes 15. I just got something from LG, our little guy that works here, JSU. And I shouldn't call him a little guy. He's JSU. And Big T's coming out with something big. Now, Big T's trying to get some Twitter followers, obviously, but he's also trying to get some new subs. Use the code BIGT44, BIGT44 at checkout for your new subscription because you want to win money and you want to get on the train with all these amazing insiders we have here at RPS. BIGT44, 44% off your first payment. 44% off, not this little wimpy 15% off that JT is trying to throw out at you. 44% off. That is big time. And you got to go and like it. So first of all, you got to go to Twitter. This is so freaking convoluted. All right. At Big T44, go there, retweet his post, and then he's going to pick a swag winner for every 4 that sign up too. So you get 200. That's like 40 swag winners. The Sandbag and SOB owes me a box full of swag, and God damn it, you better send it, Tony. That being said, Big T44, follow him on Twitter. Make sure you go out, like the tweet, retweet the tweet, and then when you sign up, post a pic of your sign up, send it back to Tony on the Twitter machine, and it's going to be amazing. I mean, could he have made this more difficult to talk about, JT?
What is this? Is this?
That's what I said. That's what I said, JSU. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is like so difficult. Just, can you just do Big T44 and sign up?
I mean, why do you make the people have to solve a fucking equation to get a discount? I mean, that's insane.
All right.
Insane. Thank you, AP. I like my code better.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Like 15 is very easy. You get your 15%. You don't have to take pictures, tweet, retweet. All that stuff, never mind. Look at the beautiful sky behind me, people. JT Hayes 15. Yeah,
good job signing up, Tyler. If you guys signed up, let us know in the chat. But make sure you follow Big T at Big T44, and then do all the other shit I just told you about.
To put Tyler in timeout for being a kiss ass.
Why? What'd he say?
Well, you just saw
signing up.
I just did it.
Why would you do that? Didn't he just sign up?
I didn't put him in timeout. I said I was tempted.
Jeez, man.
Come on, let's move on. The games are almost starting. Let's move on. You're going to have us here until
give a like button. DC, do you understand what the hell Big T's doing here with this whole 44%? Just use Big T44. Just do it.
He's just staring at naked pictures of Byron Buxton right now. He has no
Big T44.
No use.
Big T44. Send him some pictures and shit for some swag, and that's the way it goes.
Send him your nudes.
T44.
Send him your nudes.
44. Please do that too. That would be awesome. All right, back to the what's so fucking difficult about getting free shit? Because you have to follow you on Twitter, and then you got to like shit, you got to retweet shit, then you got to sign up, you got to take a picture, and you got to send it. I'd rather just take the 15% with JT as opposed to the 44 and go through all those hoops.
It's a good point here from Colin too, that Big T hasn't supported us. He hasn't jumped in with a sky pick. No sky picks out of Big T. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. That's all I can say.
Big T44. Just use that one. If you want to go through the other hoops, that's fine. I know the code works though. Jeez, making it so difficult. DC has completely checked out on the conversation, so it's time to go back to him. is what we're going to do here. And we're going to talk Baltimore and Boston. Corey Kluber, my friend, and Kyle Gibson getting the opening day start. You know, these guys are priced up, DC. Mullins, my boy, 5'4", Rushman, Santander, 5K a piece. There's no more discounts on the Orioles, at least in the start of the season. Do you want to cherry pick one or two of these guys from either Baltimore or Boston?
Yeah, this is a situation where I think if you want to go to this game for offense, which I don't think is a terrible idea, I want to do it as a full stack because I do have this park today as the hardest overall park to hit a home run in of all the games playing on opening day. But that said, it's still a good hitter's park in terms of kind of everything else, right? And especially with two bad pitchers on the mound, Gibson, Kluber, you know, not terrible, but certainly not opening day caliber when you compare them to everybody else. I do think there's a chance these guys could be kind of nickel and dime to death a little bit. Walks, singles, you know, lazy flies off the monster, whatever it is. And I think stacks like that 1 through 5, Orioles, Mullins, Rushman, Santander, Mountcastle, Gunnar, Henderson, I could see doing some damage collectively. But when it's so hard to hit home runs, that's a park that I will generally avoid for one-offs because it's hard to kind of get there alone. You need your teammates to string together some hits before and after you to really get to the big scores. So I actually like both stacks a little bit. I mentioned the top. I'd probably go with those top 5 Orioles. You could say the same thing for the Red Sox. Verdugo, Devers, Turner, Yoshida, the Japanese import for Boston, I think is going to be a good hitter for them, low strikeout guy. Tristan Casas, Duvall, they look like pretty good hitters in that 5-6 spot to me as well. So I do like both offenses a little bit, but if I'm going here, I'm going with the full stack. I think you kind of need all of them to work together, get guys on base, drive them in. You know, you get the correlation going on. So not a game for one-offs, chasing home runs, but two of the worst pitchers on this particular slate, and you can certainly kind of stack it up completely against them if you want to.
JT, any thoughts on Boston and Baltimore?
Yeah, this Baltimore team is another team with speed up and down the lineup. Mullins, Rutschman can actually steal a bag. Santander, Gunnar Henderson is a player that we liked. We were high on him in best balls this season. Kyle Stowers, Austin Hayes, if he gets on, he can run, and we know what Jorge Mateo could do. So I do like some pieces here in this game. I think DC hit the nail on the head, right? You're looking at, and this is why, if you go back a couple of opening days ago, it was our guy LG, JSU, who shipped on opening day. It was not a 5-man stack. I don't even think he had a 4-man stack. It was something like a 3-2-2-2 because there's going to be less offense when the weather is cold in some of these spots. And I think you can pick out, in particular, some of the base stealers here. Yoshida started off slower in spring training, but he really caught fire at the WBC, and he kept it right into his return to the Red Sox when he hit his first spring training home run in their last couple of games. So I think you can go to pieces. Tristan Casas, another player that we were big on, was a big mover in best ball. He's just 2,900. So again, that's why some of these prices, it's very easy to get up to the top pitchers today. I think DC's right. A game stack here is going to be a little bit lower owned than the Braves, and of course other teams we'll talk about later. But the environment, not great, but it's not much different than some of these other middling environments where you could see some runs.
All right, it's a free show. Now, when you sign up in your premium and we do the Up to Lock show, you don't have to worry about listening to all this like bullshit, okay? You don't have to. But JT is in charge of the likes. He wants 500 today. I don't know where we are. He wants 500 likes. You get the 500. You get the plays of the day and the stack of the day.
I think if LG, if you're watching, I don't know if you could call YouTube. The counter is not working. It's still at like 312. It's just broken. If they could go ahead and update that real quick and fix it, we get to 500. You get something special.
We got to get to the number opening day, guys. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, if you don't get to the number opening day, you're just starting off with your bad mojo. But we got good mojo. 44% off. 44% off your first payment of a monthly plan. RunPureSports.com. 44% off. Big T also wants you to follow him on Twitter at Big T44. Every 4 signups, he's giving away some swag. Again, it's just whatever. Just sign up, take a picture, and tell Big T about it, and then you might get some swag too. So you get 44% off. You get G Risen's core. G Risen's got a FanDuel core out there. Okay. FanDuel core. You know what he reminds me of? When we remember Pigpen from the Peanuts, except instead of dirt, it's just weed.
Marijuana.
It's just marijuana smoke.
High grade grass.
I absolutely love G Risen. It was great to meet him. Let's move on. Mr. DC, Milwaukee and the Cubs. I don't want to mess with anyone against Corbin Burns, but you want to target a couple of Brewers against our guy here, Marcus Stroman?
No, this game pretty much a cross off, other than you can certainly play Corbin Burns if you want to. Listen, 40 degrees, wind blowing in at Wrigley. We've been around this game long enough to know this is just brutal hitting conditions. Burns is obviously a fantastic pitcher. Not going to target against him much in general, certainly not today. And then Stroman, not as good, obviously, but also not really a guy that gives up a ton of home runs. Kind of a ground ball pitcher, low strikeout guy. Certainly not in the conversation for me, a pitcher, but really don't see much on the Brewers side that I want to play whatsoever. So 11-game slate. Can't play everybody. This one, outside of Burns, a cross-off for me.
JT, how about you with Milwaukee and the Cubs?
Yeah, I agree with DC. In fact, I'm kind of lower on Burns just because I think it was 5.
I have him lower than the other aces too, but he's in play at least.
Just because, again, the bullpens, the Brewers bullpen, they're going to throw a bunch of arms out there that are pretty good, and I just think the leash for him opening day may be a little bit lower than some of these other pitchers.
So let's get to Detroit and Tampa Bay now. JT, I'll come back to you since it was such a short breakdown on that Milwaukee-Chicago game. McClanahan going up against the Tigers. I don't know if G Risen's going to stack his Tigers today. I don't recommend it. But old Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound, our favorite lefty. We don't know if he's going to throw strikes or not, but then it's the Tampa Bay lineup. Anything offensively here?
Yeah, I mean, look, Erod sucks, but on opening day, do I want to play with the platoon champion, Kevin Cash, and what he's going to do? Because once you get Erod out of there, it's probably going to be a righty coming in. That means half this lineup is going to turn over. Wander Franco had some injury issues once again in spring training. He is going to start, but he's literally a broken or torn thumbnail away from coming out and missing 6 weeks. So probably not there. I will say this Tigers lineup just came out, and it makes the Rockies roster look pretty good. Shane McClanahan just went up a little bit of a notch here with this lineup: Vierling, Baez, Green, Haas, Torkelson, Meadows, Cabrera, DHing. I don't know why. Jonathan Scope and somebody named Creedler. So, Shane. And if I was going to go to anyone, it probably would be a Rosarina in this Rays lineup, but I don't think I see a need to get here just because I think the pinch hit risk is pretty high this early in the season.
Hey, DC, Vierling, Baez, Green, Haas, Torkelson. Does this bump McClanahan up in your rankings here or no?
I mean, it's a lineup I expected. It's not that it's a bad lineup. Well, it is a bad lineup, but it's not that it's a particularly bad lineup for the Tigers. It's just that the Tigers don't have any good hitters to put in the lineup in the first place. If they had them, they'd be in there. This is just what the Tigers are.
Stands to reason.
So, I mean, you got to expect McClanahan to dominate. I'll say this. I didn't expect to see any hitters in any of these opening day lineups that I hadn't heard of before. Tigers proved me wrong. Ryan Creedler, I do not know who that is.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's a pretty good matchup for our guy, Shane McClanahan, though.
Okay. Nothing offensively here.
No Matt Chapman's in this lineup, DC.
Yeah, exactly. The Rays, though, I think are interesting against Eduardo Rodriguez. Kind of an interesting phenomenon that occurs in baseball is like the Rays park overall in the season is definitely a pitcher's park, being indoors. But at this time of year, it's significantly better hitter's park than Fenway, than the Yankees Stadium, right? Which in general it's not. But when it's 40 degrees in those stadiums, it is, because they had to play in, the 78 degrees indoor weather. So, I think the Rays lineup, Eduardo Rodriguez actually showed signs of kind of improvement this spring, but I don't know. You got to take that with a grain of salt. Diaz, Franco, Isaac Paredes, Rosarena, Margot. I think it's a kind of an interesting top 5 or 6 year for the Rays. Yes, there is some risk of the pinch hit stuff with them always, but I do think most of these guys will stay in for the entirety of the game and could definitely do damage off Erod and a bad bullpen behind him too. So I do like the Rays stack a little bit.
All right. So number one, Tony, it would have been very easy if someone would have told me before the show, Big T 44% off, and then you can go to the Twitter. So don't blame me for your inadequacies. Second of all, Big T 44% off your first installment, monthly payment. I mean, we got about 1,000 people watching now, and I want at least 400 people signing up. It's as simple as there's 400 people that don't pay for the subscription. Go do it right now. 44%. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Get in there. You get the cores. You get the playbook. You get everything. Heat maps.
I mean, this really is a special day. Holden, this is the most lucid I've seen you in about 6 months. I mean, you look clean, refreshed, showered.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, just the people can't even hit the like button for this.
Where are we at?
Not enough.
And when you're a subscriber, you get the amazing free shows behind the paywall, up to lock shows, where Big T does not have any codes. You get LG, JSU, who shipped more than anybody here, probably the best DFS player in the world right now, shipping 100Ks in NBA multiple times. AP, trying to confuse the viewers here. AP09, 0.09% off. Don't use this code. Use Big T44. That'll be much better. You get core plays. These guys are giving you both pitchers, 5 position players on DK, 1 pitcher, 5 position players on FanDuel, just like it goes. You get a playbook. They break down every single game, every single pitcher. And again, you get our premium shows. And that's really where you start getting the edge. Up to lock. We got the NBA going on still. We got Major League Baseball. We got golf. Our golf team. Our golf team has just been slamming again. So many different sports. One great price. Probably the best. It's the best deal in the industry, given the great content you get and the great price. Big T44. Go check them out on Twitter, and then you can do the rest of the shit yourself. Let's move on. Philadelphia at Texas today. By the way, Minute Maid Park roof is open. We can get to that game just a little bit. But Philly, Texas, my friend. The Phillies, obviously, without Bryce Harper, but they did bring our guy Trey Turner over there. And for Texas, I keep hearing this all off season. Corey Seager is going to be the biggest beneficiary of the shift being banned. So let's go. What do we got, DC, with the Phillies and the Rangers?
Yeah, obviously 2 good pitchers, and Nola and DeGrom doing battle here. But this is another park where overall a pitcher's park throughout the year, but today indoors, it's not a bad place to hit, at least in comparison to the other places. So I like the Rangers side of this much more. Nola really kind of struggled in spring training. I don't know for sure that'll carry over, but it's at least something on a day where, there's just not that much offense out there. You're kind of grasping at whatever you can find. I'm with you, Holden, Corey Seager, definitely a guy that should benefit massively from the shift. He's a good play, even as a one-off. I think against Aaron Nola, you can certainly go to him. Josh Jung, my AL Rookie of the Year pick, he's cheap. Could play that. Nate Lowe in the middle there. Marcus Semien, you can run on Nola a little bit. Yeah, I think the Rangers side, if you're looking for an under-the-radar sneaky stack, that top 5, I think, looks interesting, power or speed in all 5 of those guys. So that's interesting to me. I'm not on Nola today. I think he's a notch below. I don't know, JT, I kind of put him in the Fried bucket. Like, he's not a bad play, but I just think there are better ways to go in this particular slate. So not on Nola. DeGrom, we talked about, probably a pitch count of 80 or so today, which, he's the best pitcher on the planet on a per inning basis, so he could still get there. I think he's an interesting play. I do think there's a couple plays on the Phillies, though, that you can absolutely go to. The 2 lefties, Kyle Schwarber, nobody's going to play him. What is he, 5,600? One of the more expensive bats on the entire slate. But, was good at the Baseball Classic. I think there's something to be said for the players that went there, performed, and actually played in games that mattered. whereas everybody else is, kind of cruising through spring training. So Schwarber, I wouldn't be surprised to see him square one up against DeGrom. And it's going to be one of those slates. If you guys remember last year, like one home run from a hitter, and they've got a good chance to get to the optimal. There's just not going to be all that much offense today, I don't think. So I do like Schwarber a little bit. And then Derek Hall. Rhys Hoskins lost for the season in spring training. Hall, I think he finished second to Matt Olson, or close to it anyway, in terms of home runs in spring. Crushes right-handed hitters. He's 2,900 hitting cleanup, looks like, or should be for this team today for the Phillies. Keep an eye on him kind of all throughout the early parts of the season. I think he's going to be a guy that I'm on a lot. Obviously, Jacob deGrom is a tough matchup, but nobody will play him. And if he connects with one, I think he's got a good chance to hit a home run as long as he can put it in play. So Schwarber, Hall on the Philly side, really the only two guys I'm looking at. And then the Rangers side, Seager is my favorite, Seager and Nate Lowe, but I do think you could play that top 5 stack if you wanted to.
Will you have much Seager?
I'll have him mixed in a little bit.
Okay. A little sprinkle.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a tough matchup against Nola.
A little sprinkle. All right, JT, let's do it. You want to go up against DeGrom today?
No, I mean, I agree with the points DC made. I think in particular with the Phillies, if they get guys on base, we've seen that they like to run on DeGrom. They've run on the Mets last couple of seasons. So I think that if he gets a couple runners on, I think they'll run around a bit. But overall, it's just like DC said, can't play everywhere. And this is a spot that I'm going to be significantly underweight on.
Okay. I actually pulled up the thing here. We got 380 likes.
Ugh.
So hold on a second.
Come on, people.
We're halfway through. Are we halfway through the slate?
Should we stop now? Should we stop now?
No. We're a little over halfway through the slate. About 1,000 people watching. Come on. We need 500 likes.
People are tuning in this show. It's freaking Thursday morning, opening day, watching us, and you can't be bothered to say
beautiful sky. Beautiful sky. Yeah.
We're giving you 44% off your first payment of a monthly plan with Big T44. Big T44, 44% off. Chris Henderson, give me some of the best info today. I will do well. I will buy the most expensive sub you have. You guys are doing really well, you have to say.
So it turns out right now the most expensive sub you can buy is using code JTHays15 because it's 1844. So there you go, JTHays15, and you're in with the most expensive sub that we have.
Yeah, and how are you? If you guys give us good information on the show today, you got to look at the cores. You got to go look at the playbook. You got to go look at the breakdowns. You got to get in the Discord.
You got to get in
the Discord. That's the other thing. You talk to our coordinators. Of course, not verbally, but you could type in, and then JT Hayes, say, "Oh, play this guy," or "You're this word," and then the DC will be like, "Yeah, that's a great player. That's a horrible play. Here's the strategy I'm using." So with everything I've been talking about, the cores, everything, the Discord is probably the best feature because you can ask these guys. You can ask these guys exactly what they want. Hit the like button, and I promise you, we don't do that on the Up to Lock show. We don't say hit the like button every 5 minutes. We just have to do
just
that.
a note for Izzy and Jay Reed. I'll do the math. You guys just watch, okay? And then answer for Jeffrey Battaglia. No, a 5-man stack is not a must on opening day.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our next game. What jersey are you wearing there, DC? You want to pick this?
Yeah,
pick it up,
Twins, man.
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago they won us more money than any other team. Last year they were a money pit. Well, maybe this year, the odd year, they'll get back into it. And I know, DC, you're on some Minnesota Twins at Kansas City and the aged Zach Greinke.
Yeah, it was one of those I didn't want to be, right? I knew I would get shit for recommending the Twins on opening day after they let us down, but I still got to follow the data and what the numbers say, and the Twins are they look pretty good to me today. I'll say that. This is one of the better hitting environments, I think the best on the entire slate in Kansas City. We won't be able to say that very often this year. It's a big park. But it's going to be 65, 70 degrees in Kansas City, 20-mile-per-hour winds out to left center field. You get 90-year-old Zach Greinke pumping in 87-mile-per-hour fastballs. And, the biggest weakness of the Twins is strikeouts, especially from these left-handed bats that I want to play. Guys like Trevor Larnach, who's hitting cleanup today. He's 2,500. Was just mashing during spring. He's like he's kind of like a Joey Gallo clone almost, like a 6'5", 250 dude with massive power that strikes out too much. But guess what? Zach Greinke can't strike anybody out, right? So I do think this matchup, this park, really does favor the Twins. The Royals also have a terrible outfield defense, which could come into play. So I'm in on these Twins guys. Honestly, I kind of like the whole lineup down to 7. I'm not going to play Vasquez or Michael Taylor in the 8 and the 9 hole, but Kepler, Correa, Buxton, Larnach, Miranda, Gordon, Gallo, I all think are very good plays against Zach Greinke, who, clearly just doesn't have that much left at this point. I'm sure he'll bamboozle the Twins somehow today, and we'll get off 2023 on a wrong page with the Twins. But I'll be on him today, no question about it. My favorite plays are the power-hitting lefties, Larnach, Joey Gallo, Max Kepler, who's hitting leadoff today. But, yeah, Correa, Buxton, this is a Byron Buxton jersey, and Miranda there, the 2, 3, 5 hitters, all look good to me as well. Greinke actually was worse, I believe, against righties last year. So it'll be painful, but I'll be riding the Twins this afternoon for sure. I think you can go to the Royal side as well, honestly, against Pablo Lopez, who I think if you look at his home road numbers over the course of his career, he's way better in Miami than he was on the road. Wouldn't be shocked if he struggled a little bit here. And listen, the Royals can do some damage. I think their top 5, Witt, Melendez, Perez, Pasquantino, and Franmil Reyes also has some upside. So I'll be in on the offenses on this game in Kansas City today.
Yep. No question, Marquez. R.I.P. Kirby Puckett. So, JT, how do you want to target this game? Do you like the Twins as much as DC does?
I'm a little bit in shambles because I had the over on the number of games before DC would recommend every player in the Twins lineup, and I clearly
you took the over on 0.5 games.
I clearly have lost that, as you just named 1 through 9. I give you great restraint for not going all in and fading the 8 and 9 hitters here, but
I am fading the 8 and 9 hitters. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Listen, he's right. This is the best environment in terms of the weather. 20-mile-per-hour wind. We have seen these wind games here in Kansas City that have ended up like 13-11 games. So I do think you can go to a game stack. The general rule last year, of course, was when the Twins are popular, you didn't want to be anywhere near them, right? So they look like they're gaining steam. Sure. With 1,000 people watching this show, they're going to gain a lot more steam after that endorsement by our very own DC, one of the sharpest. So, yeah. I think definitely both sides of this game make some sense. He's right about Pablo Lopez and the home road splits and what we can expect out of him. So, yeah, you can on a day where most of these other games are either in domes with, huge fields or 40-degree weather and winds blowing in, this one's going to stand out a little bit. So, definitely think both sides are in play here.
Very good. Where are we here? We are at 435 likes. You are 65 away from 500, which means once you hit that, you will absolutely get the plays of the day. And I'm confident they're going to, JT. I'm 100% confident now. I think they know what's on the line.
You just blew it with that statement, but thanks.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Remember, some of the subs hold back their likes, and
they won't.
All right,
they won't today.
It is opening day. Do it for opening day. Do it for Big T44 and whatever convoluted algorithm you have to do to go ahead and get that discount.
Yeah, he's like blaming me for it's annoying. No. You got so many things to jump through, but it's very simple. Big T 44% off your subscription, the first payment of a monthly plan. And I don't know why you wouldn't do it at this point. And again, these are the free shows. Free shows are an outline for what you're doing. Free shows are an outline. They're very, very helpful. But if you want to fill in the outline and win, probably going to want to sign up. Big T44. So that's your code. Follow him on Twitter and do whatever he says he wants you to do. Good to see Uncle T in here. Big baseball guy, Uncle T. Hit the like button for Uncle T, if anybody else. Wow, really? You want me a little bit more energetic? No, it's a free show. Free show. I'm not allowed to be myself on a free show. I have to be just subdued. Travis Mangone. Yeah. Good job, Mangone. He's using. You don't need to sign up for a spot though, Mangone.
Hey, listen. Don't question his motives. Just move on.
All right.
I like Aaron Henry here, who says he'll pay 44% more if Holden stops talking. I like you, Aaron Henry. DC 15 for you.
So hold on. He gets 88% off. He gets 88%. So he gets zero if he uses Big T. Okay, I just did the math. Okay, very good. Let's
Bill
move on.
Castle. Bill Castle says since it's opening day, the like rule should be waived, and that makes me want to increase the number. It honestly makes me want to move the goalpost.
All right, let's move on to our next game. Pittsburgh. You know what, JT? It's such a shitty game. I'll let you do it. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati.
Thanks, sweetheart. Yeah, listen, this is another spot where the weather is actually decent. The wind is blowing in here. Mitch Keller, Hunter Green. I'm actually pretty high this season on Mitch Keller. So, and not very high on some of these players in Cincinnati's lineup, the lineup they're putting out today. So I am probably going to be under on this game. I think the Reds actually may gain a little steam here, but I'm going to be under. I think you can pick out some of these individual batters, particularly at the bottom of Cincy's lineup and in Pittsburgh's lineup, where you got some of these guys that are 2K. Kanan Smith-Njigba is the guy who's got some power at 2,100 in the middle of the lineup. We always like O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds. I just don't know if this is the day where I want to attack these two teams.
That's simple. This is not the day I want to attack these two teams, DC. How about you?
I'll say this often. I said it a lot last year. When Hunter Green is low owned, which he will be today, I'm seeing 5 to 10% ownership on Hunter Green. I think he's almost always a good GPP play. Anyone, he's throwing 101 mile per hour fastballs. We saw it plenty last year, especially when it was warm in Cincinnati and, they're facing a good offense. People would stack up against Hunter Green. I get it. The upside's there, the home run chances there. But when you throw as hard as Hunter Green does, you have a chance to strike out 10, 11 guys against any offense. And I mean, especially against this Pirates offense, which is somewhat strikeout prone. Also, you go from, facing AA, AAA pitchers for a lot of spring training, and now all of a sudden opening day, you got a, revved up Hunter Green coming at you with 100 mile per hour letter high fastballs. If I had to take one pitcher to strike out the side in the first inning, it might be Hunter Green today. So I didn't mention him when we were talking pitchers, but I do think he would be the one cheap guy that I do think could put up the SP1 score of the day. So I will have some exposure to Hunter Green. Actually, on a different slate, I'm kind of with JT, Mitch Keller. I like him some this year. I just think it's going to be tough for him to get, the 7-8 strikeouts that I think you need to get into the kind of the upper echelon of pitching performances today. But I'm not particularly high on the bats here. You would be the lefty power from both teams that I would go to. That'd be O'Neal Cruz leading off for the Pirates would be my favorite. I will say Will Benson. He's hitting 8th for the Reds today, but he is a guy that I'm expecting a potentially big year from. Power and speed. He's like a 6'5" athlete that kind of took a while to figure out professional baseball, but had a good spring and looks like he might be on the rise. Super cheap. Nobody's going to play him at 2K. I think he's got a pretty decent chance to take Mitch Keller deep or even run on Mitch Keller, which you can do a little bit too. So Will Benson down there at 2K. I know Big T already tweeted my whole write-up, which I thought was a premium product, but I guess not in his pursuit to get followers. Will Benson was on my list of favorite one-offs today. So I'll reiterate that point.
Tomorrow I'm going to have a sign-up code that's going to be 45% off. So Make sure you know that. But for today, use Big T44. Big T44, 44% off. Let's see here. I subscribed and I got all the plays. All right, Mark K, follow Tony on Twitter and then send him a screenshot. You might get some swag.
Mark K says that, but then he also says that he enjoys playing that Tigers lineup today. So I don't know exactly what to make.
Well, he also wants to know if Shane McClanahan's any good. So
yeah,
he's got a lot of questions. Get in the Discord, dude. Get in the Discord. That's what you got to do. And then be there. No, unfortunately, the stolen base bets are done.
No, I think he's saying that stolen bases are back up now.
Oh, okay. Is that what he said?
I think that's what he means.
Okay, very good. And Uncle T, 60 degrees warmer today. It's warmer in the Cincinnati area. So that's good to see. I did not see any brothers and sisters married in Kentucky when we went out there. Do you think we weren't as far out in the country as we should have been, JT?
Well, we were a little secluded.
Yeah.
We were the only house in a 15-mile radius. So
they don't like to admit it. How do you think there's so many Niehauses in the area? I'll just say that.
Oh, DC. Oh, my goodness. Yes, Holden 45 is a scam. Use Big T 44% off the first month. All right, Cardinals, Blue Jays. You just talked about Will Benson. How about Jordan Walker today, hitting 8th in this lineup? How about Wilson Contreras added to this lineup with Goldschmidt, Arenado, Laz Nootbaugh, who I thought was Swedish, and I find out he's half Japanese. So the World Baseball Classic, very informative. What do we want to do here with the Cardinals? And then obviously the Blue Jays, just if not the nastiest lineup out there with great pitching. They're right up. I think they're winning the division this year, DC.
Yeah, this is another game that does have a surprisingly good hitting environment, essentially the same as the Royals. I guess not surprising given their proximity to each other. I think you can go to either offense today. I actually think the totals on both of these teams are a little bit light. Cardinals obviously have an awesome offense. Manoah is a good pitcher, but I don't think I do expect him to take a little step back this year. I don't think he's by any means like an infallible guy that you can't stack against. That Cardinals lineup is loaded. You talk about Jordan Walker, 2K. Definitely like him at the bottom of the lineup. Power, speed. I think if you had to ask me one player that will be this year's Julio Rodriguez and a sense to superstardom right away, Jordan Walker would be my pick. So can certainly go there, like Nolan Gorman a lot at the bottom half as well. Really, that whole St. Louis lineup looks pretty good to me, and I think will fly under the radar. I just don't think people stack against Alek Manoah very much. I get why, but again, I don't think he's a guy that you have to completely avoid. Yeah, the Blue Jays. They didn't make my initial stack list, but I think I'm going to have to add them if we get out of the show before the slate starts. We'll see. But yeah, Michaelis, not a guy to avoid. Good hitting weather here, and we know how good that Blue Jays lineup is. Haven't seen it. I don't know if it's out yet, not where I'm looking, but pretty predictable. And honestly, 1 through 9 going to look good. But especially, I think the first 6 guys are going to be pretty good plays for the Blue Jays. So yeah, I'm higher on them than I initially was yesterday when I did my write-up and stuff.
JT, 2 lineups on DraftKings, 1 on FanDuel for me, 1 lineup on DraftKings going to have Jordan Walker. It's as simple as that. I know he's hitting 8th today. It's going to be a one-off, but he's 2K. Stolen base upside, home run upside. What do you want from the Blue Jays and the Cardinals, if anything?
Yeah, he's another guy you add to the mix here of guys that help you get up to, the Cole Scherzer pairing, perhaps, if you wanted that. I do think the Blue Jays are sneaky here. Always like the Blue Jays when we get them low owned, and this is a spot where, as DC said, against Michaelis, who's not a strikeout pitcher, he's a contact pitcher, and he can give up some loud contact. So there is a nice wind blowing out to left field, so that's pretty good for some of these Blue Jays hitters as well. This is a park where you need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a lift, and I think the Blue Jays are sneaky here. And then, as DC pointed out, you can also run on Alek Manoah, and you've got speed up and down this St. Louis lineup, top to bottom. He mentioned Jordan Walker, as you did. So, yeah, I think these are 2 teams you can go to. I kind of prefer the low-owned Blue Jays just a little bit.
You talked as fast as Mangone during that breakdown. It makes me feel like you're excited.
Holden, I mean, listen, we're having a great time, but the slate does start in 48 minutes, and people need to make lineups.
I mean, there's only 2 games left, and one we've got no options from. Don't worry about it. We're fine. And you know what? They also only got a few minutes to get to 600 likes because they're sitting here in the 480 range, and that's unacceptable. So we just bumped it up to 600. Anyways, like button if you want the plays of the day and the stacks of the day, and Big T44 if you want to get in on the best baseball product out there in DFS. We're going to the Mets and Marlins. Do we want to target Alcantara or Scherzer today? Give me a one-off here if you got one, DC. Nothing.
Jazz Chisholm, I guess, would be the guy that I would play on the Marlins. And then the Mets side slightly more interesting just because they've got a stronger lineup. But Alcantara does not give up many home runs. So, yeah, this game probably not going to many bats here.
Alcantara is my pitcher today. All right, let's go. What do you got, JT? Not a lot. Yeah. Not a lot here. We like Scherzer. I don't mind Alcantara normally just against this Mets team. They do not strike out all that much. They do put the ball in play. So
it seems like playing Alcantara, you're just making the slate a little bit harder than it needs to be. Just my opinion.
You're playing a name, right? You're playing a name instead of looking at all the factors, including matchup here. And he's just, like you said, he's just a tick below these other guys. If you're doing 150 lineups and you wanted to throw in a couple of lineups of these stacks, they're going to be completely unowned. And if something wild happens, which DC, we do expect wildness with these new rules, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's not
no question in my mind. There's going to be more variance among performance than there have been in past years.
Yeah.
Just with you change the rules, things are going to get different in ways you don't expect.
Yeah, but definitely nowhere near a priority for me here.
All right, one more game to get to, then possibly plays of the day and stacks. You're 7 away from 500. 500 likes is going to get you the play of the day. 600 is going to get you the stacks. That's what we're going to do there. Last game, DC, Padres, Rockies. Rockies team total back to 2.5, right where we were. That being said, Snell had a bad start against them last year. A couple of these guys can hit righties. I'm going to tell you right now, Chris Bryant's got to be in play tonight. Everybody's going to laugh at me. Ha, ha, ha. Chris Bryant fucking sucks. No, he's healthy. He's facing a lefty. I like him. I don't love the ballpark. Anyways, no Rockies for you. Any Padres for you?
Yeah, really no Rockies. I do agree with you. Chris Bryant, probably the best bat on the Rockies if you're going there. I'm not going to be going there myself. I will say at the beginning of the show when we were talking pitching way back, 2 hours ago.
Yesterday.
I said Blake Snell might fly under the radar a little bit, updating some of the ownership projections. That does not appear to be the case. So I was mistaken or misspoke there. And that does change my opinion on playing him as a good play today a little bit because, like I said, he's just extremely volatile. You never know which version you're going to get. And I like to play Blake Snell when he's low owned and avoid him when he's chalk. And it does look like he will be maybe the second highest owned pitcher today, JT, wow. I think, Blake Snell. So, that has me less high on him than I was. I'll say that. Doesn't mean I'm going to Rockies bats. And then the Padres, I like them a little bit, but, man, 50 degrees in San Diego, which plays as a pitcher's park even when it's 70 degrees, a little bit concerning. Juan Soto going to be in the lineup today, I believe, but was also battling a mild oblique strain for the last week or two of spring. Just a little worried about him. I don't know. Seems like he could be playing through just a very minor injury, but could potentially sap his power a little bit. Maybe he's just trying to get walks, get on base, that type of thing. So I don't love this Padres lineup. We should have, of course, note this game did get moved back to that 7:40 Eastern time game. So this game won't be highly owned, I don't think, outside of Snell, but we won't know the winners till, 6 hours after the second to last game ends. So it'll be interesting sweat for people with a sweat going into the last game of the night.
All right. I'm going to give you our sales pitch one more time. You guys are going to hit the like button. You girls are going to hit the like button. We're going to get the plays of the day. I doubt you get to 600 likes. If you do, you'll get the stacks of the day. Here's what you get when you sign up at Run Pure Sports for our MLB content. First of all, we'll have shows behind the paywall that only the subscribers get. Again, free shows, nice outline. You get to fill everything in once you see the up to lock shows, and you get all the news too. We've got Showdown. We've got Core Plays where JT, DC, all our guys getting 2 pitchers, 5 position players on DK, 1 pitcher. It's a 1-pitcher site, 5 position players on FanDuel. You get team split ranks, cash player pools, DC's pool, Tony's pool. That's Big T. Mangone's 3 max, a stacks chart, projections. What's Luke Spark? What's that? I just saw that in there. Oof, I'm not even familiar with Luke Spark. Now we get that. So you get Luke Spark on top of it. It's quite the product. Big T 44, 44% off your first payment of a monthly installment. And then if you want to figure out all the other shit he wants you to do, just go to his Twitter handle at Big T 44. Then you can get some swag. As simple as that. Did I miss anything, JT?
I think you covered it quite nicely.
Thank you very much. Did I miss anything, DC?
No, you nailed it, Holden. You're a pro at this.
Big T 44. A lot of squinting today from K Phallic. JT Hayes squinting makes me worry about his eyesight.
I wouldn't be worried. It's as you can tell, it's beautiful outside. We have a beautiful sky, a beautiful sky behind me. Nothing but the bluest skies, K Phallic. Don't worry your pretty little head. Yeah,
great to see you come in and throw a zinger, K Phallic. Wonderful.
Yeah, he always does that, right? He never comes in with good mojo. He never comes in with happiness. He never comes in with compliments. It's always, boom, I think I have an edge. I'm going to attack you right now because I'm concentrating. And I'm in a good mood because I've got the beautiful blue sky behind me. K Phallic can't ruin it. Doesn't matter.
I'm really rich. I'm the king of the castle. I sell sewer things online. I'm so rich.
Right.
That's K Phallic. I guess we've got the plays of the day. We got over 500 likes. We did a good job there. DC, let's hear it, baby. What do we got for the play of the day?
I'm proud of the people getting the likes of the day. So I'm going to give two plays of the day. One, because I think Mr. Trevor Larnach's going to be popular hitting cleanup for the Twins, 2,500. I think he's going to take Greinke deep, but I think people are going to see that low price tag, clean up the high total. They're going to go there. I didn't want to give a chalk play as the only play of the day. So I'll go to another outfielder. This guy, stone minimum 2K in the best one-offs up on the site in my player pool slate write-up. Reds outfielder Will Benson. He is hitting 8th, but I think this guy is going – go out on a limb here and say 25 year, 25 home runs, 25 steals for Will Benson. Nobody's heard of this guy yet. He's probably going to be like 2% owned, and he's going to do some damage off Mitch Keller and the Pirates. So Will Benson and Trevor Larnach, the DC Mom's Basement plays of the day.
Yeah, I'll give mine in the middle just because no one's going to play it anyways. 8-spot Cardinals. I'm going with another 8-spot rookie. Jordan Walker from the Cardinals. 2K on DK. He'll hit a home run. He'll get a stolen base. It's going to be a great day for Jordan Walker. So we got a pair of min-priced rookies. JT, talk some sense into us.
It's going to be a great season when the very first play of the day is Trevor Larnach from DC. It's a player that he loved for years.
Bring up the Twins jersey. I had to go with a twin.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. But we're going to get a little bit different like I like to do here. I do think you can get unique on this slate. And I'll give you 2 as well. I'm going to start with a player that I love. I've got probably overexposed to him in the underdog best ball streets, but I'm happy about it because I think it's going to be a big season for my guy, MJ Melendez. Hitting second for the Kansas City Royals, 4,700. I like him quite a bit. And then another guy, he's making his major league debut today. It's not a spot that a lot of people are going to go to. Masataka Yoshida, play of the day number 2. I think he's going yard today off of Kyle G.
One more time, Big T 44, 44% off your first payment of a monthly plan. Follow him on Twitter. Figure out the rest of the shit at Big T 44. DC, what is your Twitter handle?
At Draft Sheet.
JT, what is your Twitter handle?
It's at JT Hayes Jr. Holden.
I mean, we get 0% off for our Twitter handles. And as you can see, at Holden Radio, if you want to follow the greatest Twitter handle in the history of the world. Anyways, wonderful to see you boys again. JT, great to see you. Nice sky pick in the background. DC, Twins jersey on today. What could go wrong? Should be a wonderful day here on opening day. If you don't check out our product, I hope you lose. That's all I say. And if you do sign up with Big T44, you're going to win.